Let us begin. My name is Darren Joseph, HJ Tax. We're a team of cross-border tax advisors that seek to demystify the sometimes confusing world of international tax for those of us who are trying to live that international lifestyle. Today, we have the honor and the privilege of speaking to the one, the only, Mr. William Fung. Bill, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you. Again, my name is William Funk. I'm a tax attorney, member of the firm Norris McLaughlin, and I do. I have a fairly broad tax practice, which covers such things as cross-border tax planning for corporate transactions, as well as partnerships, personal matters, state and local, and I also deal with civil tax controversy. So it's a fairly broad tax practice.
I know you said that, hey, you need to start as soon as possible, but how far ahead should the tax planning start, ideally, in an ideal way?
As soon as I really would say, as soon as if there's an awareness of of the potential life changes, and so you don't need to start at the phase of, gee, it might be nice to move to the United States one day. But if you find that you're engaging in serious planning for everything else, then it really is time to, to make plans for the U.S. tax planning. And so, that's a question of when that you become aware that you're actually serious about this decision. And, that the way that, sort of people naturally sort of, make any decision that there's a moment where people are sort of musing about things without even sort of realizing that they're considering the option. But then there's a certain point, when that, say, investigating things like things like where to live, things like things like financial arrangements, things like how to how to wrap up or close out commitments in the home country, that there are certain signal things that that I think should at least trigger an awareness that things have come to sort of a level of seriousness, and so that it's that when things sort of move from fantasy and speculation to concrete steps, that's when somebody should be thinking about the tax as part of that.
Yeah, and it could be depending, because everybody's situation is different, right? So if someone will have relatively simple financial situation, maybe it's months. But for someone with, a more complex situation. So we've had clients, for example, who were waiting in a big liquidity event with a startup that they're involved in Southeast Asia, and perhaps they want to continue that, or the sale of a relatively substantially priced asset. They may want to put that transaction to bed before they become U.S. tax exposed. Or there are clients, for example, who are looking at complex structures, for example, certain trust or PPLIs, private placement life insurance policies, for which these things need to be structured even years in advance, a couple of years in advance. So, I guess it varies with the complexity of someone's family situation and business situation as well.
Right, and as well as how potentially irreversible that the steps are, and so that this sort of gets to, again, questions about when somebody has a certain awareness of things, because that the thing that I cannot emphasize enough is that that making the decision to become a U.S. green card holder, which and the technical term is permanent resident, or a U.S. citizen, that's a decision that takes somebody from from residence based and source based taxation to to U.S. worldwide taxation, and note that with residence, residence is a trigger for worldwide taxation. But the thing about residence is that that's something that can be switched on and off. Somebody can acquire U.S. residence, somebody can unacquire it. But the thing about permanent resident status or U.S. citizenship is that once that you have that, that the steps of undoing that, are quite arduous. and so that it's going from sort of one major paradigm or gestalt to a completely different one.
Absolutely, absolutely, and again, yeah, we see clients who are different ends of the spectrum. For example, someone coming on an L1 visa, an intercompany transfer, where, to your point, they do have control over it. They just limit their time on U.S. soil, and they could, to some extent, control the exposure. On the other side of the spectrum, someone coming on a family visa, for a spouse or other close relative, or an EB-5. EB-5s are quite popular. And then once you become that lawful permanent resident, you're all in, right? And it's kind of, yeah.
And by the way, and this is a moment to mention, something else, and this is something that I've had, sort of people come to me in various forms. I realize that it's psychologically a thing, and that is that whether or not that the stay in the U.S. is temporary or permanent, that once that you have that there's U.S. residents, that there are certain disclosure requirements that start to kick in, and particularly with respect to, again, sort of jumping ahead, foreign bank account reports, but there are also such things as as PFIC reporting, that there's foreign asset reporting, and that I've noticed that some people that when they get the questionnaires from accountants, if the accountants that sort of vaguely know that the rules exist but they're not pressing very hard, they'll send over a questionnaire, and the person who's receiving it may take the attitude of, well, this has to do with my life outside the United States. This is none of anybody's business. And then if they find that they have a prolonged exposure to the United States, and that penalties are at risk, and problem with that just saying, well, this none of the United States business is that is that the return saying specifically ask about these items. And so if you that simply sort of casually do that, that is actually a willful failure. And there are ways to have relief for non-willful mistakes, things that you don't know. But there's a difference between I never knew that that was a question that needed to be answered versus I didn't know that was serious. I didn't know that that they actually meant that. And while it's a very human thing, that I know that there are countries out there where people don't even think of jaywalking, but in most countries, that they do, and so that there are plenty of places where people have a sense of, well, that's well, they say that there's a rule there, but nobody actually follows that rule, that's no big deal. I'll just apologize for that later. But that there's certain things that, again, they don't seem like very much, but they have some real and lasting consequences to it, and then undoing it is really hard. It's something that is just a really distressing thing, is seeing somebody come to the United States with a not very sort of large bank account, like maybe 50,000, maybe that reflects some years of savings, but that because that when that the question came on the return, that that they said, well, this is not anybody's business, nobody could possibly be interested in this, that the event to have it where that as again, that there's a need to really ensure compliance, that there's no good way out, that that it doesn't involve essentially that bank account being wiped out. And I hate to see somebody's hard-earned savings, particularly when those savings aren't very much, that if somebody has, say, only 50,000 savings, that also probably means that it was a real struggle to get to that point, and you hate to see somebody essentially lose their bottom dollar. And that's the thing I really hate to see the most. As I say, most people who are considering planning probably have a good deal more income than that, but still, if there are people who are coming to the United States and coming with more than nothing but not a lot, I want to make sure that that they're absolutely absolutely pristine, in the compliance, because that there's no reason to subject that really hard-earned, hard saved sort of money that is like that's the emergency fund, to see that put at risk.
Absolutely.
So if you're a 6, 7, or 8-figure investor, entrepreneur, or business owner who needs a tailor-made solution from a qualified team of professionals, we can help you achieve the international lifestyle, the freedom, and even the tax savings you're looking for. Visit us at htj.tax and live that international life.